Hello, this is Fred Liers of Health Products Distributors and another Creating Health Naturally video. And today I am going to be discussing 7 ways to reduce the effects of EMF exposure. Now, EMF exposure is electromagnetic radiation exposure, and we get it, it's really common, it's ubiquitous, in fact it's everywhere. It's basically, it comes from cellular phones, it comes from Wi-Fi routers, it comes from cell phone towers, it even comes from inverters, transformers. It's actually a huge topic, but I'm just going to give 7 ways to reduce the effects because the effects are pretty adverse over time. In this world of increasing cell phones, increasing connectivity, increasing 5G and the Internet of Things coming, all this, there's a vast amount of literature available now. Many books, many websites, many products. But suffice it to say, today I'm just going to be talking about 7 ways to reduce the effects. So the number one, or at least my number one, method to reduce the effects of EMF exposure is distance. So in its most simplest form, it means keeping yourself away at a distance from sources of electromagnetic radiation. So this can take the many different forms. So for example, it means that you should probably not be holding a cell phone to your head or for very long. So, for example, just to show you what I use, check this out. This plugs into my phone. I have a little adapter for my iPhone that you can get for $5 or whatnot. Plugs right into your phone. If I'm, say, waiting for a call and I have the ringers on, and when the phone call comes in, instead of picking up the phone, I just can pick up this phone and hit accept, and I'm there. And this stretches, so I can set the phone, say, a good 2, 3, 4 feet from me, and this gives me distance. So this is a little thing I kind of carry around with me in a bag sometimes, and it's handy dandy and very useful for distancing oneself. If I don't happen to have my little handy dandy phone on me, I can utilize the speakerphone on my phone. So, you can hit speakerphone and accept the call and keep it at somewhat of a distance. You're still holding the physical phone, but it's at a distance. And the main reason, at least when it comes to phones, but actually it's most electromagnetic devices that emit electromagnetic radiation, is the inverse power law. Basically, it says that the closer the device is to you, the signal rises exponentially. So the reverse is also true, or the converse is also true. The further it is away from you, the signal decreases exponentially. What this means is, it's a very powerful law. It means that even just giving yourself 8 to 10 inches, say on the speakerphone, or a few feet, say on my little handheld set there, if you have a meter, which I do, and I may show that, you can measure the signal, and the signal drops off rapidly. So this would also then be extended to your Wi-Fi router. You want to keep your Wi-Fi router in a room where you're not working or playing or sleeping, and you want to unplug it at night, of course. Now the second method that is well known to be able to reduce the effects of exposure to electromagnetic fields is time. And it's very similar to distance in some ways. It's just reducing the amount of time, minimizing the amount of time of exposure. So, we're probably all going to be exposed at times during the day, and of course sometimes for extended periods. But the goal is to reduce or minimize the effects of the EMF exposure. So reducing the total amount of time is an excellent way to reduce the effects. So ways in which you would be able to reduce the time would be, say, minimizing cell phone calls, putting your phone, say, on airplane mode, or just taking it off cellular data even can help. Minimizing the time, say, in a Wi-Fi network. So turn it on, use it, turn it off, especially at night. You don't need to be exposed to a Wi-Fi network at night when you're sleeping. So unplug it. Some people will put it on a timer, and then the timer just will turn it off at a certain time. You can override that if you need to. So time is a really important critical factor. If you have a solar photovoltaic system, which produces dirty electricity, for example, which I'll cover, you can turn that off in the evening and turn it back on in the morning. So time is a very simple, very powerful method, reducing the amount of time that you spent in exposure to networks, exposure to your phone, exposure to cellular data, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, all these things. Now another method of reducing your exposure to electromagnetic fields is to use wired connections. So this has been a big push in recent years in the schools for this. And a wired connection at its simplest is, say, running an Ethernet cable from your router or switch directly to your computer, therefore foregoing the need for Wi-Fi networks, wireless networks. I have all my computers wired up with Ethernet cables. You'll want to use a shielded cable, Cat probably 7 or higher. I use Cat 8s right now. And what this does is it just reduces the body's exposure over hours and days and weeks and months and years to the effects of the wireless electromagnetic radiation. I have, and they make a series of adapters for phones, tablets, laptops. So like whatever type of plug-in you need, I have many of them. They could go into my iPhone. Just hook the Ethernet cable into the adapter and stick it into your phone. The adapters cost $15. Very inexpensive. And so this is probably one of the most powerful methods, because since I have wired my house, essentially, I have have reduced my exposure significantly, and consequently I'm probably more sensitive than the average person, but I feel so much better, so much more energy, so much more brain power, so much more concentration ability. And this same is true for many people, and the studies show that there are significant effects to Wi-Fi radiation, and wiring yourself up is one really great way to not have to deal with the effects of the wireless radiation. And most routers have a setting, either online or physical switch on the router, that lets you plug in your Ethernet and then turn off the wireless. And then if you ever need the wireless, you can just turn it back on. So there's many different options, and going wired is one way to significantly reduce your exposure to electromagnetic radiation. Now the next method I would like to discuss briefly is shielding against EMF exposure. This can take many different forms, and nowadays you just go online or wherever you can buy cell phone cases with shielding. A lot of these are those RFID blockers, but it takes many forms. They make them for tablets and laptops. There's entire lines of clothing. And I'm just going to show you some of the things that I use, for example. So this is one of my cell phone cases. It's called a safe sleeve, and they're not that expensive. And it has, so let me just show you this. So what it has is it has a military grade EMF blocking film on this side, which is the side that faces you. It's got a little magnetic closure here. And when you open it, if you ever were to hold this to your ear, it blocks not all, but a significant portion of the signal. So if you were to be using this as a speakerphone, it really works pretty well. It's not foolproof, it's not 100%. I have a meter, I measure this, but it's a lot better. And the phone just has a little, just tucks into this, and you close it up. And so there's your, there's actually probably dozens of different types of these available in all different styles and colors. And like I said, they make them for iPads and other tablets and laptops, and for setting laptops on and sliding inside of. So this is just, this Safe Sleeve is one brand. I believe Shield is another. And they make all different kinds of cases for every type of phone and model and make, and many different devices. So I'll also show a few other things. So this is an electromagnetic field blocking hat. It's lined with silver. I don't know if you can see that very well. And you can wear this. It's comfortable. Looks pretty good. Stylish overall. No one would ever know that you have a EMF blocking hat on. It works actually really well, surprisingly. They also have beanies. There's actually shirts and pants, and I'll show you something else that I have that works. This is an EMF blocking blanket by Shield. It's organic bamboo and cotton, and it's very comfortable. It feels really nice to the touch, and they recommend it it can block up to 99% of signal. So let's say you're using a tablet on the couch, which you probably shouldn't be, but you probably will and do. So you just unfold your blanket, and you can wrap it around yourself. You can just lay it on yourself. It feels really nice. It's very soft and comfortable material. This is a very well recommended brand. This is a top of the line EMF blocking. I've tested this with my meters, and it's this Shield brand. It's the little Spartan there, or the swordsman, and I really like this. So those are just three of products that I own that are highly effective. And just to give you an example of the types of things you can do with shielding, shielding extends to a whole other category, like curtains for your house. And you can buy fabrics, and you can make things with these fabrics. And a lot of people will just put them over their windows. Let's say you have a neighbor who is beaming their signal your way, and it's bothering you, or you don't want it to bother you, or you just don't want it at all. You can get different types of silver fabrics, copper fabrics, different types of metals. And for smart meters, you can also block the electromagnetic radiation from your smart meter. And I'll just show you, this is, I can't remember the brand, but it's essentially bubble wrap. It's like a Mylar bubble wrap. You can get this at Home Depot for probably, I don't know, $15, an entire roll of it. And you can utilize it the easiest way to use it is simply to get a picture frame, cut a piece to size, stick it in the picture frame, and hang it over the wall on the inside of the house, right across from where the smart meter is. So there's your smart meter. You cut a piece of this, you put it in a picture frame, you hang it right where that smart meter is, and if you have a meter, then you can measure it, but it's highly effective and completely inexpensive, and you can block the signal from the smart meter. So another powerful method of reducing the effects of EMF exposure is to filter dirty electricity. Now this is of all the forms of EMF, the one that people struggle with probably the most to understand, at least initially. Once people understand it, it's like, oh, okay, I get that. So you probably haven't even heard the term dirty electricity. Dirty electricity is actually the title of a book written by Dr. Samuel Millam, MD, MPH, Master of Public Health, and he identified this in his research, and he was part of the group of people who first learned how to filter this dirty electricity to prevent its harmful effects. So without really going, if you want to read the book, it's a thin book, it's cheap, and I highly recommend it, but I'm going to give you some of the highlights. Dirty electricity is electricity that actually travels through the ground and eventually works its way. Well, it can affect you not only in your house, it can affect you elsewhere, but primarily it travels through AC wiring in homes. And it's really defined as anything other than the clean 60 hertz sine wave. So AC power in the United States is 60 hertz. And so if you hook an oscilloscope up or you visualize that, you want a nice clean sine wave. But due to many factors, increasing factors in the modern world, if you take an oscilloscope or were you to measure your AC power, you would find there are lots of little interferences. And in fact, dirty electricity is also known as electromagnetic interference, EMI. It's sort of a contamination, as it were. And so where does it come from? It can come from cell phone towers. It can come from household electronics. Modern household electronics have chips in them that alter the AC current to save energy, Energy Star. It breaks up the electricity in such a way that introduces what are known as harmonics and transients. And were you to see this measured on an oscilloscope, you would see it as it still might look like a waveform, but it would be very fuzzy and jagged. And it's like, well, you say to yourself, well, so? But the truth is that it's extremely harmful, because when you start getting a larger and larger amounts of electromagnetic interference on the AC wires, it can actually come onto your body. Now, a 60 hertz will not enter your body, but higher amounts will. And once they're in, they can just take the path of least resistance and cause all kinds of health problems. So the best way to really visualize this would be to have an EMI meter. And I have one. I'm going to show it to you here. This is my, I have several different brands. This is my Green Wave electromagnetic meter. It's an EMI broadband meter, and it's plugged into my outlet right now. Now you see that it's currently reading about a 6 or 7, depending on how you want to read that. Very low. 6 or 7 is really ideal. You want it less than, say, 30, or certainly less than 50. The higher the number, the worse. Now it's the sun has gone down, and my solar system is turned off. But were I to plug this in during the day, without filtration, you would see a reading of 1,986, which is very bad, and I can feel that in my house. So that's why I have filtered my house. And the way you filter that is using, there's different brands. This is a Green Wave filter. You just plug it into an outlet, and right now it's nighttime. There's low dirty electricity coming into the line, and there's filters as well. So, but when you have dirty electricity, you plug this into your wall, and the dirty electricity is reduced. It doesn't take it all away, but it reduces it. And so I've had to put one of these in basically every outlet in the house. And if that doesn't do it in a given room, you have to get either an extension cord with extra plugs, extra outlets, or say like a surge protector, and plug as many of these in, which I have, until you get numbers that are very, very low. And these cost about $25 to $30, depending. You buy more, you get discounts. And these are from Green Wave. I highly recommend these. The other brand is Graham Stetzer, and I have a Graham Stetzer filters as well, and a Graham Stetzer meter. I probably can show you that, but I think you get the idea. Filtering dirty electricity. Now, here's the amazing thing. You might think this isn't your problem. I have gone around my town measuring stores and libraries and my friends' houses, and I've yet to find a place that doesn't have some level of dirty electricity, and it's often much higher than you would suppose. Just to give you my experience, I had a suspicion that at some point after reading the book or doing research, I felt like I probably had dirty electricity, and sure enough I did, and it was 1,986. If I turned the solar system off, it dropped, but it was still maybe 500. Well, I typically find people's homes can be up over 1,000 or more, even if they don't have solar panels on their home. If their neighbors have solar panels, because the solar panel needs an inverter, which converts DC power to AC power, or if they live near a cellular phone tower, which probably converts AC power to DC power, or if their neighbor has an electric car charging station, or if there's high voltage power lines. So I highly advise reading the book. There's many different health problems that can be associated with this, along with just feeling not so good. So it's nice to know that you can just plug some of these in most cases. Now there are other cases that where it's so high that you might need to do a little more than just plug in filters. However, for the typical home, at the typical levels of a typical home, these dirty electricity filters work wonderfully, and they'll help guarantee that dirty electricity is filtered. And just to let you know one more thing, just so you want to know what's inside, it's really a box of capacitors. So what it does is that dirty electricity comes in on the wire, comes into here, and these capacitors just absorb all the non-60 hertz sine waves. And but you still have to put them in multiple outlets and then test the different outlets, because it's tricky stuff and it's not necessarily obvious that you can just without a meter plug them in and you're really getting the best filtration. Now, another method of helping to reduce the effects of EMF exposure is nutritional supplements. And I should maybe say nutrition and nutritional supplements, because diet is critical, and I'm not going to go into the whole dietary element right now for time considerations. I will talk about the supplements, but suffice it to say you want to be eating as clean as possible, preferably organic foods, a wide range, and reducing chemicals, pesticides, genetically modified foods, GMOs, etc., etc. And when you do all that, reducing sugar, and when the diet is good, it helps support a healthy body, which may seem obvious, and will help the body have the reserves to deal with the effects of electromagnetic exposure. And that will become more apparent as I talk about the supplements. Now, nutritional supplements can play a very critical role in defending your body against the effects of EMF exposure. And I'm just going to cover a few of the ones that I think are the most important. So I'm going to start with what we call our foundational supplements, Health Products Distributors foundational supplements. The foundational supplements are a multivitamin, essential fatty acids, antioxidant, vitamin C formulas, and a superfood, preferably a rejuvenate superfood. The reason I start with those, even though we have more supplements that are maybe more targeted to EMF exposure, is because you really need a strong foundation of the essentials. Sort of like an insurance policy, it sort of just keeps everything where it needs to be. Hopefully you have a good diet. This is supplemental, so it's not to replace a good diet, obviously, but it preserves, protects, enhances, strengthens, etc. And that way, it will help the body do what it needs to do to counteract and mitigate the effects of electromagnetic exposure. So the first one I want to show you is, this is our multivitamin, the Hank and Brian's Mighty Multivite. It has coenzyme B vitamins. It's extremely complete. And we also have this Multi-2 caps. This is our other brand of our house brand, I guess you should say, of our multivitamin. These are two extremely good formulas. The one difference is this one has a few more B vitamins in it, depending on your stress levels or what your physiological needs. And this has maybe some more fancy ingredients like broccoli sprouts powder and antioxidants. So I take this one, but I know a lot of people who take this one. It just depends on your preference. So in this world where we don't always get the best nutrition, it just pays to have that extra level. And considering that electromagnetic exposure is stress on the body and it depletes nutrients, you want to make sure that you're getting everything that you need for basic health. Okay, so moving along, this is the next category, which is the vitamin C antioxidant formula. This is one of our top of the line formulas. It's the Pro C. This is the large bottle. We also have a smaller bottle of 90. This is the 180. This is grapeseed extract, vitamin C. It's got a few minerals in it, like a little bit of magnesium, some selenium, green tea leaf extract, alpha lipoic acid, some L-glutathione. It's kind of fancy. It basically, the grapeseed extract works with the vitamin C to make it more effective, and it enhances it, and I would say supercharges it, if you want to look at it that way. This is also known as a NRF2 activator, NRF2, NRF2 activation, which helps the body produce its own antioxidants within cells. Spectacular formula, and in fact, if you're looking at anti-EMF formulas, this would be more of a target anti-EMF formula, partly because, and I haven't really gone into, and I won't go into too much detail, the ways that EMFs affect the body. One of the ways that EMFs affect the body negatively and adversely is through oxidative stress. So how do you combat oxidative stress? Well, it's with an antioxidant. And when you're under super oxidative stress, you need a super antioxidant, and Pro C is a super antioxidant. And another one of our really good formulas for EMF mitigation is known as Ultimate Protector Plus. I don't have a bottle of it here. It goes really well. It's sort of like a sister product to the Pro C, except that the Ultimate Protector Plus is really more of a supercharged NRF2 activator. So it actually has probably more powerful NRF2 activation than Pro C. So they work really well in tandem, but they can be used separately. Super antioxidant formulas with very, very high, I guess you'd say ORAC values, but it's much beyond that, because it's every single type of oxidant, whether it's say a superoxide anion, or whether it's there's like 6 different types of oxidants, or there's more than that, but of the 6 major types, the Pro C and especially the Ultimate Protector can target all of them extremely effectively. So moving along, we have our Essential Fats plus E. It is now well recognized that essential fatty acids are critical for health, brain health, cell membrane health, brain function. The list goes on. Cell membranes, our bodies are electrical, and they communicate through the cell membranes, and it is well known that having cell membranes that are built of the substances that they're supposed to be built out of, and that are provided with the nutrients that are required. For example, EPA, DHA, GLA, and this also has some tocotrienols. That's a type of vitamin E. These are just the essentials that the body absolutely needs, that you can get from diet, but it's harder and harder. And so why not provide yourself with this? And this gives you the essential fats that you really, really need for so many different functions in the body, from inflammation to brain function to cell membrane function. The list goes on. Go online, read about it. It's all there. Moving along, this is one of our superfoods. We have 2 Rejuvenate superfoods. This is the greens, also known as the Sweet Green Rejuvenate Plus. Rejuvenate Plus. Sweet green superfood. We also have the berries and herbs as well. This is our best seller. It's got chlorella and spirulina. It's also high protein. It has actually a built-in multivitamin. I wouldn't say it's a complete substitute for a separate standalone multivitamin, but it provides, it's in there, right? So what makes this particularly special, in addition to providing a lot of really critical nutrients, is it's high in dietary nucleic acids. Dietary nucleic acids could be the subject for an entirely separate video, but they're anti-aging, and they kind of can reverse biological aging, or they certainly maintain youthfulness and help build it. And there was a couple of really great books written by the molecular biologist Benjamin S. Frank. He goes into incredible detail. If you want to read his no aging diet, That's one really great book. He wrote a technical book on dietary nucleic acids and their healing properties, and we actually utilized his research to build this product. So it's vegetarian, and it's full of all kinds of really great things, superfoods, and proteins. And I really find this to be highly effective at, personally, for reducing the effects of EMF exposure. Moving along, so those are the foundational supplements, but we have a number of enhancement formulas that are critical for health in general, but I think specifically in this video on EMF exposure are really, really something that can help people a lot. So I'm going to start with our magnesium formula. This is called Myo-Mag. We also sell a whole slew of magnesium chloride products, like magnesium flakes and sprays and gels, and those are great. That's transdermal. A lot of it can be go right through the skin in a bath, say, or just be sprayed on skin. This is a capsule. All these are capsules except the superfood so far. And this has magnesium from malate, glycinate, and carbonate, as well as a couple small amounts of B vitamins and some malic acid, 300 milligrams of malic acid. The malic acid works with the magnesium, supercharges it, and this is an energizing formula. So, you know, there's a lightning bolt on there. Can you see it? When I take this, it really boosts my energy, and notably, one of the effects of EMF exposure is actually it's fatiguing. It can be draining, especially over time, over your course of your day. And you know, I get the morning started with a couple of these. Don't start with two, start with one. Some people need more than others. And it's like, pow, you know, it fires you up, it gets you energized, it gives you the brain power as well as the go power. And you know, I used to take it, but as the years have gone by, and as I have been exposed to more EMF, simply because I didn't used to have a cell phone, and then I got a cell phone, I had a flip, right? And then I got an iPhone, right? And now I've got a tablet, and now I'm like Wi-Fi'd out. Well, this has been a godsend when it comes to counteracting the fatiguing and draining effects of electromagnetic energy, or EMF exposure. So I love this one. I highly recommend it. Of course, no discussion would be complete without, this is another enhancement formula that we have. It's called Vitamin D3 Plus. This is actually the old label. And it's a soft gel. You can see it's nice and yellow like the sun. And this has not only vitamin D3 and 5,000 IUs, but it has 1,000 IU of vitamin A, and it's got 10 micrograms of vitamin K2 as MK7, which is the very form of vitamin K that you need for making your bones strong, your body strong, and to enhance the absorption of vitamin D. So the vitamin D and the K work together for maximal absorption. Vitamin D3 Plus. Okay, and now I think we're coming to one of my favorite ones for EMF exposure. This is a fancy little product by the name of pH Adjust. Now, I was already taking all of these. You know, I'm EMF sensitive, I guess you could say, or I was. I'm getting better, not nearly as sensitive as I was. And I attribute that partly to this product. It's a powder. You put it in your drinks or water. I put it in coffee, whatever. And it's very mild tasting. It might taste even a little good because it's got a little potassium glycinate in it. The glycine makes it taste good naturally. And this is an alkalinizing formula, so it's minerals. It's magnesium carbonate and potassium bicarbonate and a little bit of sodium bicarbonate. Not too much, but imagine baking soda and its alkalinizing effects magnified. And that's what this does, and it provides a more balanced mineral profile. Doesn't have so much sodium, but you want to be pushed into the alkaline range. You're too acidic, it makes you more alkaline. It takes you to about the 7.4 range, which is really what you need to be for human health. You're too alkaline, which is really rare. It'll pull you back down into it'll buffer you back into that sort of 7.4 range, depending on your diet and your stress level and what you're eating and drinking. pH Adjust is just a wonderful formula for bringing you into that zone of alkalinity, just slightly alkaline, where you need to be, and most people are not. And when you're slightly alkaline, everything tends to work better. You tend to be healthier. You tend not to get sick. And the other thing is that I wanted to mention, and that is, one of the ways that EMF fields work to adversely affect human health is to mess with the calcium, the voltage gated channels. And so the tendency is to flood cells with calcium, and that's bad. You want to keep the calcium out of cells. So magnesium helps balance the calcium, and it's been shown that in order to properly absorb calcium, which could just float around in your body, people are popping calcium pills, you really need magnesium, maybe in a 4-to-1 ratio, 4-to-1 magnesium to calcium. So I think that's what we have here in actually there's no calcium in this, so this helps get your diet more like that 4-to-1 or 8-to-1 or 10-to-1 ratio of magnesium to calcium. So calcium's important, but people tend to get blinders on about calcium and not realize that magnesium is needed for the uptake of calcium. So if you take calcium without magnesium, you're not going to get the benefits of the calcium. Moreover, magnesium is really required in like hundreds of enzyme systems, and for energizing the body, and for cardiovascular health. I mean, the list just goes on and on. Magnesium is critical. And as far as EMFs go, this will help. The magnesium will help. Just like that capsule form Myo-Mag will help, the magnesium in pH Adjust will help, and it alkalinizes. So it's like a double whammy benefit. So there's a couple other products I want to talk about. These are really immune formulas, you can think of them as, but it's more than that. So the first one is Immune Assist. This is Immune Assist Critical Care Formula. And what this is, Immune Assist is a mushroom extract product. So there are 6 medicinal mushrooms in here, and this contains the extracts of their fruiting bodies, their mycelia, and various components from these mushrooms. So it's Royal Sun Agaricus and reishi, maitake, shiitake, turkey-tailed cordyceps. And 2 types of cordyceps, the sinensis and the militaris, and it's organic. These are all organically grown mushroom extracts, and this is just a phenomenal formula for immunity. It's highly potent, and it supports immune modulation, and it boosts the natural killer cells. It boosts interferon production. I mean, if you think all the reasons you might take a mushroom extracts product, and this is the extract is better than actually just taking the mushroom itself, or the whole mushroom. So it's an extract. So it's potent. It's concentrated. So you could take 1 capsule a day or a couple of capsules a day. This boosts immunity. And I wanted to add that one of the ways that electromagnetic fields, EMF, harm humans is ultimately weakening the immune system. With constant exposure, that's what happens. And in fact, Dr. Samuel Millum, in his book Dirty Electricity, for example, that's the very theory he proposes. He proposes that over time, the body just wears down with constant exposure, and then once the immune system gets knocked, the body could actually be open to any number of health issues, shall we say. Another product I want to talk about is the Carbon 60. We sell a brand of Carbon 60, and the particular product that we sell is the Thrive Whole Body Health, and we sell it for humans and for animals. What this is it's an organic extra virgin olive oil with standardized amount of carbon 60, which is C60, or it's the carbon fullerene. So a fullerene is a 60-sided geometrical shape, named after Buckminster Fuller. Now, Buckminster Fuller was the inventor of the geodesic dome. And so he would create these structures that you may have seen in toy stores, or they've actually used them in architecture, but it's also found in nature. And this particular product carries the carbon fullerene, and the carbon fullerene, the carbon 60, the carbon fullerene has some unique properties. One of those properties is that each of the 60 sides on this, you can imagine almost a ball, a geometrical kind of ball shape with these points. There's 60 points on this fullerene, and each one of these points can hold an electron, which ultimately means that these all can be electron donors. Basically, these electrons can be donated. But the another unique property of this carbon 60 is that not only can it donate electrons, it can receive electrons. So the upside of this structure and this ability to hold electrons and donate them is the potential for massive antioxidant protection. If you can be donating electrons and each side can do this, and it can send and receive, so to speak, then it can be replenished and get more electrons to donate. So that's one way of thinking about it. The potential antioxidant power is potentially astonishing, and so another way that EMFs harm us is through massive oxidation, through oxidative processes, which is how many different harmful things operate in the world, whether it's exposure to chemicals or EMFs or lots of different things. We need our antioxidant systems working in good order. And if you can provide your body with a substance that will enable those systems to function at peak, or even higher than what you might normally experience, even taking vitamin C and some other antioxidants, then that's a good thing. And so I highly recommend the Thrive C60 product that we carry. Like I said, it's in olive oil, organic extra virgin olive oil. It's infused with the C60 through a very special process, so it doesn't taste bad. You could put it on your salad if you wanted. Most people just take it in a teaspoon or a tablespoon. The doses are you start with an intact dose, and then you eventually go to a maintenance dose. And we're talking in teaspoons, maybe a tablespoon at the most, tablespoon and a half for larger people as the attack dose, and ultimately you'll be on a teaspoon or a number of teaspoons. It's a small quantity, so it's actually very highly cost effective considering what it's able to do. Now I have a couple little bonus products that I wanted to talk about, that I've talked about in the past that might make the B list, so to speak, but that I really, really believe in. And one of these is this Mega Hydrate capsules that we sell. This is the Patrick Flanagan product. I've talked about this in a number of other videos. I'm a big believer in the Mega Hydrate. It really actually works well with the C60 and the pH Adjust and a lot of the other things, because this provides hydride, which is it's H minus, and when it comes to in hydrogen supplement terms, and it's extremely powerful in its own right. I can open the capsule up in water. It doesn't expire, meaning, well, it can last up to 2 weeks in water. Not that you would wait that long, but it's not like some of the hydrogen products you have to drink right away. It's not even, I don't think it's even billed as a hydrogen product per se. It's which I'll talk about in a minute. And so this product is an extremely powerful antioxidant as well. And so you could get some of this and try it out and play with it and see how well it works with maybe some of the other foundational formulas and other antioxidant formulas that we have. And another product that I really like is this Active H2 Ultra. This is a hydrogen product. This is a fizzy tablet. This one fizzes out really fast. You don't have to wait around, and you want to drink it pretty much right away. You don't want you can let it fizz, obviously, but I might even start drinking before it's finished fizzing completely. But you want to drink it, really pretty rapidly, and you'll get an energy boost from this. This is also an antioxidant. It just provides a different kind of hydrogen. This is molecular hydrogen. So this is the H2 versus the H- of the megahydrate. So I think these two products actually work really well together as well. The Active H2 Ultra along with the megahydrate. And finally, I want to talk a little bit about this other little product that we carry. It's called the olive leaf extract. You can read all about olive leaf extract online. It's an immune system booster, so it kind of goes along with the mushroom extracts. It's made from olive leaf, and again, it's an extract, so it's far more potent than just ground up leaves. It's a capsule, and you'll see here it's green. It's mildly green, as you might expect from an olive leaf extract. And I've read much of the literature on olive leaf extract. This particular one, I believe, is the patented form. It's the East Park holds a patent on the production of the special production of this extract, and it's a very powerful immune system booster. So I like it. It feels good to take, and it's highly effective. It can really squelch any little issues you might be dealing with, and as a long-term protection, it really helps with. I believe it really helps with electromagnetic fields. I have another little product I want to talk about. It wasn't on the main list, but I really believe in it, and let me show it to you. It's called Ion Gut Health. Ion Gut Health. It used to be called Restore. We actually sell a lot of this. It's one of our better selling products. There's actually 3 sizes. This is the very large one that you can transfer into some of the smaller squeeze bottles for easier consumption. The reason I even bring this one up, it's a gut strengthening, brain boosting, toxin and allergen protection, microbiome and immune support formula. It's a liquid. And you don't need much of it. So a big bottle like this could last a long time. The reason I bring it up is because you're going to need, in this world, one thing that is not talked about is the effect of electromagnetic fields on the microbiome. So as hard as the world is on our guts, through different diet and, chemicals and pesticides and herbicides and Roundup and glyphosate and all these other things, electromagnetic fields can exert their own adverse effects on the human microbiome. So unlike, say, just a typical probiotic or prebiotic, this product, which you can still take a prebiotic, a probiotic, whatever, this is really more of a microbiome fertilizer. So it's made of aqueous humic substances, which translate it's like basically a specially processed lignite extract. So it comes from the ground. It comes from strata in the ground that are very, very, very deep and contain ancient microbiota. I mean, they're not living per se, but they do hold the communication system that the body will recognize. The communication system of the ancient microbiome. So what this does is it fortifies and it ultimately boosts the number of the biodiversity in the microbiome. So this is really important. The other major thing it does, and this is equally important for electromagnetic fields exposure, is it seals tight junctions. So you have a megamembrane that runs from your nasal cavity all the way down to your abdomen and below your digestive tract. And many things, it could be glyphosate, it could be electromagnetic fields, different things, they can open up the tight junctions in that membrane. And those tight junctions are meant to be sealed tight. So, and that includes, it can include the blood-brain barrier. And I'm of the opinion, since I started using this, that it has definitely helped me with my blood-brain barrier integrity, and the tight junctions in the gut. And you'll just feel better when your microbiome has greater microbiome diversity, and when it has greater integrity, and then it can support a larger number of organisms. Then you're going to be more like the ancient human gut, as opposed to the extremely modern human gut, which has been ravaged by antibiotics and electromagnetic fields and glyphosate, and the list goes on. So this is sort of a specialized product. It's a little different than some of the other ones. It's not so, for me at least, I didn't really have any major gut problems like a lot of people do, but I definitely had EMF problems, and this helped me in that regard. And so I thought I would just add that to the list as something that you might be interested in. Now, along with Pro C and our vitamin C antioxidant formulas, there's a formula that I didn't have before, but I have now, and I want to show it to you. It's called Ultimate Protector. This is our super duper Nerf 2 activation formula. It's a vitamin C antioxidant formula. It's actually in the same family as our Pro C product that I talked about. Pro C is a super solid vitamin C antioxidant formula with Nerf 2 protection. This is more like your super solid Nerf 2 protection. And I'm not going to go too much into Nerf 2 or NRF2, but it is basically the simple version of this is that this contains plant substances that are natural, that will work with your cells and go into your cells and ultimately tell your cells and give your cells and the nucleus of your cell directions on how to produce its own antioxidants, thereby allowing you to produce your antioxidants. So it's what we call endogenous, or inside the body, antioxidant production, versus, say, a standard antioxidant product like a standard vitamin C. It's known as exogenous because it's coming from outside the body. So this actually has both. This has vitamin C in it from non-GMO. It's got a USP grade non-GMO ascorbic acid. It's got some magnesium malate and a little calcium malate, but it's got a standard fruit blend of grape, cranberry, pomegranate, blueberry, apple, mangosteen, bilberry, chokeberry, and goji berry. I mean, you can go on our website and read more about this. It's got curcuminoids, it's got green tea leaf extract, it's got resveratrol, it's got bioperin, and it's got the resveratrol from the Polygonum cuspidatum root extract. So it's kind of a fancy product, and we have tested it, and you can go on our website and read the numbers. It's some incredible number of antioxidant units, which we've never seen any other product have such high antioxidant production across the spectrum. So this is a really good twin product, or brother product, I should say, with the Pro C, and I just can't go without talking about this, because this has actually also helped me and many other people with EMF exposures. So I'm a big believer in Ultimate Protector Plus. And so I would highly recommend trying Ultimate Protector Plus. And, you could pick one, either the Pro C or the Ultimate Protector, or you could just use both, like I do. Now I want to talk about another category of measures, or maybe I should say a category of devices, a category to mitigate the effects of EMF exposure, and that is what I call active measures. Now, most of what I've talked about here are considered passive measures. For example, the shielding. Passive. You just set it on, you shield something and it blocks it. That's passive. Distance and time. I guess, they're considered passive. You're just moving away. Active measures are now something which, I haven't really talked about this in my blog articles or videos, but active measure is something which more directly counteracts the electromagnetic field or counteracts the effects on the body. Now, nutritional supplements, of course, are, some people you could make the argument that some of them, like C60, are active. The argument can be made they're passive as well. But I want to talk about this category because there is an increasing number on the market of active devices, which are devices which produce fields of their own. There's a whole field called PEMF, pulsed electromagnetic fields, or pulsed electromagnetic frequencies. Devices which are beneficial. And so I just want to show you one that I like, but there are others, and I'm experimenting with some. And so the one I wanted to show you today is called the Blushield device. This company, Blushield, I'm going to show you this, actually makes home units, which I have, called cubes. They make plug-in units, which I have. They're small, and they just plug into an outlet. And this is the portable. This is one of the portables. They have new portables that are what they call continuous signal. This pulls a pulse out every 30 seconds. So what this device does is every 30 seconds it puts out a pulse of a Schumann resonance. So the Schumann resonances are a group of... Oh, there it goes. See? It's pulsing. A group of resonances that are what are known as earth frequencies, and the fundamental, or the base, is 7.83 hertz. This was discovered by Dr. Schumann, I believe, in Germany a number of decades ago, and he had his graduate students measure the field of the earth, and they came up with a fundamental of 7.83. This is just a little background information, and then there's harmonics at different frequencies that go with that base, with that fundamental. So this particular unit puts out the fundamental, and it also puts out harmonics. And, I tried holograms and stickers for the phone. I tried a radiation to light device, which actually I think does work to a degree. Different types of wristbands, and I'm not saying that they don't do anything, but my experience with holograms and stickers is that I'm not saying they don't do anything. I'm simply saying that, like, time and distance and shielding and nutritional supplements and these things work far more noticeably, and I have meters to prove it. But I gave this a shot. I gave this a chance, and I'm telling you, it made a big difference. So, it's an earth frequency. So just on one more tiny little aside, a lot of people do what's known as grounding, right? They take their shoes and socks off and go in the grass or go in the dirt. And I used to do that, but the problem was when I realized that I had dirty electricity in my house, and that instead of getting grounded out, I was getting electrified up. I realized I couldn't do that. I had to buy a pair of rubber shoes instead. And so when the solar is on and then the sun is up, I'm often in my Crocs, protecting myself from the dirty electricity. Anyway, so this little Blushield device, I have. This is the more deluxe of the older portables. There it goes again. And there's a plastic one that's less expensive. I think, I don't know, maybe a couple $100 or less. This one's a little more. It's a metal case, and they have a newer one that's, like I said, continuous signal for maybe better in environments where you're like exposed all the time, like the city, or 5G networks, or when you're surrounded by Wi-Fi networks from your neighbors. You live in an apartment building. This works pretty well for me. I'm looking forward to trying their continuous signal unit, but I'm not going to go into the scientific studies that they post on their site showing better blood flow or, this sort of thing. All I know is that when I carry this on my person, I feel better. Significantly better. And it came as a surprise. So, when you're trying to reduce the effects of EMF, you try different things. And if getting a Schumann earth resonance pulsed every 30 seconds, it makes you feel better, then wear it, right? Just as a side note, NASA puts Schumann resonance generators on the space station. I believe they had them on the space shuttles and other craft. It's because when you're in outer space, you're not exposed to the Earth field, and we evolved with the Earth field. So it stands to reason that NASA figured this out, and in fact, this is partly based on NASA technology. It's a little ironic that here we are living on Earth, now surrounded by unnatural electromagnetic fields, but that we can generate a field that is of the Earth and feel better, because that's our heritage, our genetic evolutionary heritage, if you will.